where I'm at. I'm curious. The poll results from yesterday. And there was like 400 people that voted on X yesterday. 43.1% of you said you think they're now more likely to stay in Missouri, the Royals, because of the Chiefs announcement. 31.7% of you said more likely to go to Kansas. And then, fair enough, 25% of you said this doesn't change anything. And that might be the correct answer. It probably is. Maybe it's wishful thinking on my part. I want to believe that it causes somebody to change their opinion and on both sides, the Royals side and in the Missouri side. But if a public vote is needed, that's where I don't know if it does. Someone from the 816 says Royals probably gone, but they probably could get a great deal from the Missouri side. Someone else says, I'd hope the powers that be in the city, county, and state do everything they can to keep the Royals. That's my hope as well. Like I know people are very passionate on both sides, and we're not all going to agree on what transpired yesterday. And time hopefully heals most, maybe not all, most wounds with yesterday for those certainly that are upset. But I want one team on the Missouri side and one team on the Kansas side.
Get the downtown baseball, baby. Find a way to make it happen.
That to me is still the best outcome in this entire thing. If you tell me yesterday helps result in downtown baseball, then I would be thrilled if that's what happens. I just don't know about the public part of it, the public vote part of it.
Yeah.
913-586-7965. Someone else says, Kansas saw the Chiefs and Royals as a long-term opportunity. Missouri saw them as an inevitability and took them for granted. And that opens up Pandora's box again. We had that conversation yesterday. I don't know if we want to rehash it necessarily. We all know what happened a couple Aprils ago. We all know it was not just one particular thing that resulted in the vote going down in flames in a massive way. It wasn't like this thing failed by 2%. It was, a 16% margin of defeat. There was the change with the Royal site last minute. There was a pretty crappy renovation plan, quite honestly. There was miscommunication. There were certainly groups that were very outspoken. There were some people that were strictly not going to ever vote for it because they don't want public money going to a stadium, and that's their right. There was a ton of reasons why, and that's what I'm saying. If on a Royals-only ballot measure in Jackson County, would it be closer? Sure. Is it enough to swing it? Is that a risk the Royals would want to take? If, in fact, they can even come up with a plan. That's the whole thing about, yesterday and the frustration around them leaving or not leaving. Remember that the idea that Missouri just had this plan ready to go for the Chiefs yesterday, they didn't, though. The county, the state, and the city still did not have everything put together for a definitive plan for the Chiefs. I know, like, Phil Lavoda, I think, is going to be on with Carrington this afternoon in studio, if I'm not mistaken, Jackson County executive.
I believe, yes.
And that'll be great to listen to. But, like, on Friday when they were holding their press conference saying Kansas doesn't have a plan, we do, like, that just was not true, clearly. That just wasn't accurate. And so yesterday, Clark Hunt mentioned that one of the deciding factors, like, why did this come together, other than, as I told you, I think one of the easiest decisions you actually can make based off of the money that was at stake on the Kansas side, public money, was that he said it was a unified front on the Kansas side. They were dealing with one entity. Everybody was together, the counties, the cities, and the state, and obviously no public vote. Whereas on the Missouri side, you were dealing with Jackson County, two different executives at one point in time. We all know about Frank White. You're dealing with the mayor. You're dealing with the governor. Like, there was too many people you were trying to deal with separately. That's the wake-up call you would think has to happen if you're the state of Missouri and if you're Jackson County and if you're KC Mo to try to get something together for the Kansas City Royals.
It's tough when you're dealing with when everybody is just formulated together and you're not having to go through multiple voices, or you don't have multiple people in the room that have different opinions on it. It just makes it easier by a natural way. Like, if I have to try to get something to happen, but I got to go through you, and then I got to wait for Cody to get back from vacation, and then I got to talk to Speck about it, and then I got to wait for Rob. Then if everybody's unified by this one person who's representing a group or whatever, then it makes it a lot easier to negotiate and just communicate, if you will, quite frankly.
All right, coming up next, Bob Fesco was in Topeka yesterday. He had a one-on-one interview with Chiefs owner Clark Hunt. You want to hear what he had to say, including the question about the Dome Stadium. I thought that gave me a little bit of hope that maybe it's not only a dome stadium. I want you guys to hear that. And then we'll be joined by Kansas House Minority Leader Brandon Woodard. He was on the LCC that voted yesterday to approve that package in Kansas. Got a couple questions certainly for him about maybe some more details we did not learn yesterday. And a lot of talk this morning about the Star Bond map and the thought that the Star Bonds would just be around a small area. Turns out it's all of Wyandotte County, it looks like, and half of Johnson County. So we'll get to that next here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
'Tis the season to be boosting on FanDuel, because this year you're getting 7 straight days of holiday rewards, each one waiting in the app for you to unwrap. Every day brings a new way to play, so keep checking in to see what drops next. And it all leads to the Christmas Day special, where you can get something extra special. 7 days of gifts, one big finale. Your holiday football just got a whole lot brighter. Head to FanDuel.com/Alex to get in on the holiday spirit. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Pain has a way of stealing the moments that matter most, especially during the holidays. It's not just your knees, back, or shoulder. It's time away from your family and friends. But in 2026, all that could change when your body remembers how to heal. It just needs a little help finding the way back. At QC Kinetics, right here in Kansas City, we believe relief doesn't have to come from surgery or pain pills. We use your body's own natural healing abilities to repair and restore what's been lost, helping you move, live, and feel like yourself again. It's your body's comeback story, powered by the very cells that built you in the first place. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. Just your body remembering how to feel alive again. QC Kinetics delivers long-term relief, finally. So schedule your free consultation today and use your HSA or FSA before the year ends. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Looking to drive your finances downfield? Main Street Credit Union is the hometown team you can trust. We help you build credit, lower monthly expenses, and finance with confidence. Or if you need a loan to grow your small business, we've got flexible options and no hidden fees. At Main Street, it's not just about the win, it's about keeping Kansas City moving forward. One goal, 1 yard, 1 member at a time. Get in the game at mainstreetcu.org.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Cronius Professional Welding Equipment Service and Repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane and Hughes. DG Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ETHOS.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Back in 60.
Are you really eating during the commercial break?
You bet. These Factor meals keep my head in the game.
Oh, yeah? So what do you got there?
This year's filet mignon and creamy Parmesan shrimp. With Factor, I get chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals delivered weekly. Perfect for pros like us.
Oh, so you're a pro now, too?
Box says Factor, eat like a pro. So, yeah.
I think it's time for you to share a bite like a pro.
No. Get your own at factormeals.com. Factor, eat like a pro.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
All right, we're just getting started here on a Tuesday. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. Cody out today. Drew Nixon producing the show. Coming up in about 12 minutes or so, we'll be joined by Kansas House Minority Leader Brandon Woodard. He's on the LCC committee, the council, I guess I should say, that voted unanimously yesterday to approve the funding package that will build a stadium in Kansas for the Kansas City Chiefs, along with that training facility and headquarters in Olathe. So want to get his perspective on how this all came together. Also some more specific questions in relating to the Star Bond District and some of the money that's involved for this proposal as well. So that's coming up in just a bit. Someone tweeted me, they said, you're not going to take any calls. I didn't say that. I said in the first segment of the show, we won't be taking calls. We'll take it. If you call in, we'll get you on. You're not going to get on immediately because we've got some stuff lined up. That's all. All right. Text line, phones, you're more than welcome to call into the show today, 913-586-7965. I'll tell you, though, this half hour, it's probably not going to happen. We've got...
Yeah, you don't, and I don't want you to sit on hold for that long. I don't think you do either.
Yeah, we've got a guest coming up in about 12 minutes, and I'm about to play you Bob's one-on-one interview that he had with Clark Hunt. So we got a busy show, but I promise you, at some point we will get to calls, and if you call in, you'll get on the air. 913-586-7965. As I mentioned, Bob was in Topeka yesterday at the state capitol building and was there for the announcement and had a chance to talk exclusively at that point in time with Clark Hunt. Here's his conversation.
Well, we're here with Clark Hunt, who made a major announcement today. The Chiefs are officially moving to the great state of Kansas. How would your dad feel about all this today?
Well, I've actually thought a lot about my dad over the last several weeks and last several months as we worked through this decision. He certainly loved Arrowhead. In fact, he said it was his favorite place on earth. But he was always about the fans and what was best for them. And he was also very forward-thinking, thinking about the future. And I think he would be absolutely thrilled that we're going to build a state-of-the-art stadium that our kids, our grandkids, our grandchildren will be able to enjoy for generations.
You know, through this whole process, I thought a lot about your dad. You know, I'm one of the few left that knew him in the media now, right? And so I was thinking a lot about how would Lamar think about this? Then I thought about you. You're leaving your childhood home. How difficult was it for you to say goodbye to Arrowhead and build new?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Arrowhead's a special place for many Chiefs fans, including our family, and we all have special memories there. But this decision was really about building a place where our kids and future generations of Chiefs fans can have their own memories.
Yeah, it's awesome as we talk with Clark Hunt. So let's talk about this whole thing. How did we get here today in the state of Kansas where you're announcing the new stadium and the new facility in Olathe too?
Yeah, well, it started last year with the state of Kansas reaching out to us and saying, hey, we may have a way to finance a new facility for you. And those conversations just accelerated over the last 12 to 18 months. And they've been very intense, as you can imagine, for the last couple of months, sometimes one step forward, two steps back. But we were able to reach an agreement that works for the state of Kansas, works for the Chiefs organization, and I think will be an absolute huge win for our fans and also our employees. We just had a team meeting with our employees to tell them about the announcement.
Right.
And I think I could see the excitement on their faces about having a brand new practice facility and team headquarters.
So you guys are going to be able to do all of that. What is the structure of all of this? Who pays for what? How does this all work out? Everybody wants to know the numbers and all that.
Yeah, sure. So it's a public-private partnership, like most stadium deals are. And the state of Kansas will be paying for 60%, and our family will be paying for 40%, both of the stadium as well as the practice facility. There's also an opportunity and an obligation for some development around both facilities. That's something that was very important to Kansas. They wanted the development of mixed-use districts around both, and that's something that we're excited about being part of.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up because for a couple of years now, even longer, we've been talking about where stadiums are and what is required to support a team anymore, in the NFL or even in Major League Baseball for that matter. And that development around the stadium, the practice facility, how much does that help keep you competitive with everybody else in the NFL? People hear salary cap, but there's much more to it than that.
Yeah, that's really been a trend across all professional sports, that most facilities, arenas, stadiums have mixed-use developments around them. And it's certainly an important part of the financial equation. I also think it'll help make the game day experience better for our fans, to be able to go somewhere where there are hotels and where there are bars and restaurants that are close to the stadium.
Yeah, what about dome, retractable? What are you thinking for that?
Well, our plan is for a dome. We've not made a decision on whether it'll be retractable or not. We'll get into the design work pretty quickly. The first order of business will be to select an architect, and once we've done that, we'll get to work on that design and figuring out what will be best for the community.
And it's cool to have how many great architects here in Kansas City that can do all this. I mean, look what they did the first time around, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Kansas City for a long time has been really the birthplace of stadium architects, and that really goes all the way back to the development of the Truman Sports Complex back in the late 60s and 1970s. The people who worked on that helped found many of the firms that are here in Kansas City now.
When you've been traveling around, you've got what's going on just in your division alone with LA and with Las Vegas, and now Denver's coming on with new. When did you say, yeah, we do have to do this, or we're not going to be able to stay competitive?
Well, we knew that we had to do something in terms of either renovating Arrowhead or building a new stadium, because our lease is up in 5 years. So we just had hit that sort of natural timeline, and really the lead time you need to design and build a stadium is 5 years. So we were really up against the wall in terms of needing to make a decision. Certainly we're aware of what's going on around the National Football League. The last several weeks I had a chance to tour Buffalo's new stadium. This past Sunday I toured the Titans' new stadium, which is going to be a dome. And as you alluded to, there are plans in Denver and in Chicago and in Washington to build new stadiums. And I think all those are going to be domes as well.
All right, what's the one cool thing Clark Hunt wants in this stadium? All right, I get to design my own. We're putting this in. What are we doing?
Well, I'll tell you the one thing that we're going to make sure is even better than it is today, and that's the tailgating.
Yeah.
So that's not the stadium specifically, but we did a survey with our fans, and they came back and said there are two things that are really important. One is we want a new stadium to be loud. And secondly, we want the tailgating experience to be what it is today. So we're going to work hard to even do better than we have today.
How do we do better at tailgating?
We're going to take it to another level.
So now that this has been announced, what's next? How is this process going to work forward? Because I think this is going to be for the next 5 years. Everybody wanting information every day on what's going on.
Yeah, and initially I think the information is going to come a little bit slowly because we do have to select an architect. We don't even have renderings of the stadium because this agreement with Kansas is so new. So that'll be the first order of business, is to get an architect on board. Soon after that, a contractor, and then get to work on the design work and then the construction cycle, which really needs to start in about 2 years.
What about the practice facility? What are the plans for that involving Olathe School District and the city of Olathe? What's all going to happen down there?
Yeah, so we've already had conversations with the school district about potentially having a football stadium on the development, and also a youth recreation center. So those will be key parts of the development. I'm really excited about that. Just that overall mixed-use development. I think it's going to be a great place for our players, coaches, and employees to go to work. And I think it's going to be a great place for the citizens of Johnson County to go and enjoy a day.
So we're talking basically the Star that's down in Dallas being up here in Kansas, essentially.
Yes, I think there are two really good models in the NFL in terms of mixed-use developments. One is the Star, where the Cowboys practice, and the other one would be the Vikings
is awesome
facility. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool spot up there.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. We've reached the beginning or the end. I don't know how you want to phrase that.
We're
right?
going to say the beginning.
The beginning, yes.
Right.
Clark Hunt, the Chiefs are officially moving to the state of Kansas.
All right, so that was Bob Fesco one-on-one with the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, Clark Hunt, yesterday in Topeka. Certainly there are multiple things that were interesting with what he had to say, but the part that goes with our earlier conversation about the type of stadium I thought was just interesting. Now, this does not mean that it won't just be a dome, but he was asked more details on the stadium. He said they had not made a decision on whether it will be retractable or not. So it's a dome. We know that. It's all been announced as a dome, but you heard from the owner directly that they have not decided whether or not it's going to be a retractable stadium or not. And as we discussed earlier, I wonder still, there's a serious difference in cost all of a sudden if you have a retractable roof, and on top of that, how often are you going to have the roof open to begin with? Does it justify the cost as much as you want that? Somebody on the text line 913-586-7965 was asking about training camp, and is Kansas is stealing training camp also? So that the training facility and the headquarters for the Chiefs is moving to Olathe. Training camp, remember, the Chiefs are going to be at Arrowhead and stuff through 2030. The new stadium's not until 2031. Most teams don't go away from home anymore. That's an Andy Reid thing. So if the Chiefs still went away for training camp, it's not going to be in Missouri. You're right. But there's also a high likelihood that post Andy Reid, maybe by the time the stadium's built, I have no idea how much longer he's going to coach, that they would just have theirs on site at this training facility, because the training facility in Olathe is going to have a stadium. Now, it's not going to be a massive, stadium, but it will have a stadium not only for Olathe School District to potentially have events, but also you're going to have a stadium there that training camp eventually one day could just be right there. They haven't announced that, but yes, the training camp, fast forward 6 years from now, is not going to be in St. Joseph, Missouri for multiple reasons. All right, let's go out to Topeka. We all know that was the center of everything yesterday when the announcement was made by Governor Laura Kelly, Clark Hunt, Mark Donovan, and everybody involved in these negotiations, and someone that was right there on the Legislative Coordinating Council. He's the Kansas House Minority Leader. Brandon Woodard joins us here on 96.5 The Fan. His district that he represents is part of Lenexa, Olathe, and Overland Park. I appreciate you calling into the show today. Just take me to yesterday. You grew up in Kansas. What was yesterday like for you to see this all come together, months and months of work?
Yeah, this has been, conversations years in the making, and it was a surreal day, one that I think many of us didn't think we'd actually get to, but everyone worked really hard. Negotiating teams went back and forth between the state and the team, and ultimately got to something where we could say yes to it.
What was there any, doubt, I guess, on the LCC? I know you guys had, multiple conversations, to say the least, but just that going into yesterday, I know everybody was confident, but what was the turning point, I guess, when you guys started to really realize, we got a real shot at getting the Chiefs to Kansas?
Yeah, I think when it was probably a holiday party a year ago where I was introduced to representatives from the team here in Topeka talking about the potential of looking at this. And, we had just months earlier passed the Star Bond legislation allowing for us to explore attracting a major professional sports team to Kansas. I think many of us probably thought this sort of project is huge and probably too big for what we're able to do in Kansas. And so I think a lot of the focus was really aimed at the Royals, which I know that we're still, negotiating with. But I think the turning point was really in the last couple of weeks when this all really started coming together, where we were like, okay, this is something that's actually happening. Here's real proposal details being put in front of us. And, fast forward to yesterday with a unanimous vote. I think many of the questions that members of the LCC, the Legislative Coordinating Council, had were preemptively answered by the Department of Commerce, by the chiefs. And so we were able to get to a pretty quick resolution yesterday. And then, as we saw, all 8 members voted in favor of the deal.
What was, if you could, I don't know if you're able to peel back the curtain at all. You mentioned just maybe some of the concerns, of course, throughout the process that were brought up. What drawbacks, I guess, did you guys potentially identify, if you're a Kansas resident, whether we're talking about traffic, whether we're talking about certainly the financial element? Was there anything that stood out that was a hurdle for you guys?
Yeah, I think for me to kind of inform my decision-making process, I went back to the initial bill we passed in June of 2024, looking at what this sort of deal looks like, what incentives we can provide up to the 70%. I think the Chiefs deal came in at 61% of the project. But a lot of that we knew it was going to require mixed-use development. We knew it was going to require infrastructure upgrades, public safety, all those sorts of factors that were considered. And so, I think for me, it was making sure that this is, one, a good deal for Kansas, but two, you're looking at something this major. Most all of our Star Bond districts that exist right now are pretty geographically small. Obviously, this is a much, much different situation than that. So I think for me, the biggest one was, how do we pay for this in 30 years or less? With, a traditional Star Bond district, this is anything but traditional. Obviously, it includes the new growth from Olathe and Lenexa and Shawnee, Bonner and Edwardsville and KCK. And so that hopefully allows us not only to generate the revenue with new growth and all the private development that's going to happen, but also pay it off early as well.
We're talking to Kansas House Minority Leader Brandon Woodard here on 96.5 The Fan. You kind of alluded to it there a little bit, but $1.8 billion in public money, that'd be the largest public subsidy for a stadium in U.S. history. What would you say to those that are concerned about the amount of money that is going to be used to build a stadium and that training facility?
Yeah, I think, Kansas is one of the few states that has something like Star Bonds, and so it's a very unique financing tool that many, including myself, before I was in the legislature, didn't quite understand. And so I do know that they've put out a really great video on kansascommerce.gov/chiefs. It's got an explainer video on how Star Bonds work. For me, I think we've seen many of these projects throughout the time in the state of Kansas. Some have flopped, but nothing it's truly become a destination has flopped. I think the Speedway paid itself off, and I'd have to check, but about half the time that they anticipated it to happen. And so for me, when we look at these destination projects, I think, as someone who lives in Lenexa and now potentially going to be living in a Starbond district, the Starbucks that I go to now, that's existing revenue, that's base, that we're not going to see that go to the Starbond. Any new development, any of the new restaurants that we're seeing put up, new bars, new hotels, that in future revenue will be part of what finances this project. And so I think, we're unique in that we can offer this incentive without putting the Kansas taxpayers on the hook. If people don't want to support the project, they can, I guess, go, over to Overland Park to buy something from a new restaurant or store versus the one in the Starbond district. In the same way that, if you're going to the stadium or you're going to the hotels or bars around it in the new tourist destination, then you're helping finance this project.
You brought up the kind of the map that has been released by the Kansas Department of Commerce for the Starbond districts. And I understand that that's preliminary. That's not the final map, but right. I can't help but notice, Overland Park, Leawood, some other areas are left out. Is it fair to say that's, not included potentially in case there is a Royals Starbond district that's needed?
Yeah. I mean, I know they're in constant communication and continued negotiations for the Royals, and so I think it's strategic. The bill we did pass does authorize the Secretary of Commerce, or Lieutenant Governor David Tolan, to finalize those lines and draw those lines. And so I hope that means it's good news for a potential Royals deal as well. But with this project, I think it was very strategic about the growth that we're seeing in Johnson County. Lenexa is one of the fastest growing cities in the state. So I was glad as a Lenexan that we were included in that Starbond project. But we also have some work to do, right? The Starbond legislation expires next year. Under the current law, this would bar any of those municipalities that are drawn in, those cities that are drawn into the district from having future Starbond projects. We need to update that. But we also have some legislative fixes for this for next year, too. We have to come up with this quasi-government entity that will be the ownership group of the actual stadium facility. So we still have some work to do, but yesterday was an exciting day and at least first step in this process, but final step in getting the deal to Kansas.
Just a couple more minutes here with Kansas House Minority Leader Brandon Woodard. He was on or is on the Legislative Coordinating Council that approved the Starbond financing to make this all happen yesterday with the Chiefs moving to Kansas. Now, the question everybody is asking still is, all right, where's the stadium going to be? We know Wyandotte County. I think we've all speculated the Legends area. Do you have any more insight on perhaps where the stadium is going to be located for the Chiefs?
Yeah, I definitely know it'll be in Wyandotte County. It's in the Legends area. I believe that the Chiefs currently have a number of plots of land that they are operating and can work with. Of course, where I'm going to find out the exact location when everyone else does, because there's real estate and all that sort of stuff that happens. So once a project is announced, that kind of impacts everyone around them and all of their neighbors. And so I'm eager to see exactly where it's going to be, just like the rest of you.
The training facility in Olathe, I know everybody was discussing potentially a couple sites. It ends up being in Olathe, and the talk about whether or not the Olathe School District would have some role in this as well. Could you explain just a little bit on the headquarters for the Chiefs, the training facility, and what that potentially could look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really great opportunity, and that all the development that will go up around that, which will be part of the mixed-use plan that they're required to. But I think this partnership with the city of Olathe and the Olathe School District is really great, because you're going to have our athletes in the Olathe School District being able to use some of the same facilities that our Kansas City Chiefs are training in. And so I think anytime you can combine those resources, you've got things like sports medicine and all those factors that you have to include. And so I think it's a really exciting opportunity and partnership. In the same way, part of the term sheet that was released yesterday also includes, which of course, if the Chiefs are playing, then that's the priority. But hopefully their plan is to include our Kansas State football championships to be played at the Chief Stadium as well. So I think this is a really great opportunity for them to invest in the communities, being good partners and good stewards with the local, school districts as well. And I think that it's just the start of hopefully many future Kansas City Chiefs that come out of the Olathe School District because they got to practice in their same practice facilities.
Last one for you. You mentioned the Royals a little bit when I asked you about the Star Bond District. When you have the amount of money that now is allocated for the Chiefs Stadium, do you feel that the state of Kansas is still positioned to get the Royals to Kansas as well?
Yeah, with Star Bonds, we don't have to pony up funds that would otherwise go to schools or roads. And so any of the Star Bond projects do finance themselves. And so I'm going to leave that to the expertise of our Commerce Secretary. And if they bring us a deal that I think we can sustain, I'll be voting for that one as well.
Kansas House Minority Leader Brandon Woodard, appreciate the time. Congratulations on the announcement yesterday.
Thank you so much.
There you go. That is Brandon Woodard joining us here on 96.5 The Fan. He serves on the Legislative Coordinating Council that approved the Star Bond proposal yesterday. He represents Lenexa, Olathe, and Overland Park. All right, up next, we'll get away from the stadium stuff just for a little bit. Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, I'll ask him about Arrowhead, right? He's played in that stadium before. He certainly has broadcasted there. He's been to these new stadiums. So we'll talk a little bit on that angle, and then I want to get into the rest of the NFL and the Chiefs getting ready to take on the Broncos on Christmas night. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like Dark Mode 2. Log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning, and you too can be so much more.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
It's holiday cheers time, and Gomer's Fine Wines and Liquors is here for it. With 5 locations, a wide selection, great prices, and friendly service. Gomer's Fine Wines and Liquors, family owned and KC proud since 1969.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us, and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Home remodeling shouldn't be stressful. Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and West Shore Home is proving it doesn't have to be. With real-time scheduling and precision scan-to-plan accuracy, they make your remodel fast, easy, and convenient. That's why hundreds of thousands of homeowners have trusted West Shore Home to transform their bathroom, windows, and doors. Plus, right now, when you buy a full bath remodel, you'll get a second shower for free and lock in an extra $5 $500 off just for listening to the show. But you need to schedule now at westshorehome.com/fan.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We'll help you find last-minute gifts that don't look last minute, even if you're still planning to propose. At Shane Company, we'll show you perfect gifts at perfect prices, in stock and ready to give. Like hand-matched diamond studs, 14-karat gold chains, or the ultimate gift, a beautiful engagement ring. We have longer store hours, so you can skip the crowds and shop when you want, or visit us at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here to tell you Rob Sight Ford is closing in on a record-setting year, and they're doing whatever it takes to get there.
That's right, Kevin. We're pulling out all the stops to finish the year strong. 0% for up to 66 months on most Ford models, including F-150s, Escapes, Explorers, Super Duties, and Transits. Top dollar trade-ins and pricing other dealers won't match.
If you've been waiting for the moment to buy, this is it. We've got the vehicles. We've got the deals. We just need one thing, you behind the wheel.
Impeccable rhyme, Kevin. But hey, this is simple, upfront, and easy, and it all ends January 5th.
Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and voted best car dealership in Kansas City by Kansas City Magazine. And now, we're going for the finish line. Rob Sight Ford. Buy right with Rob Sight.
135th and State Line or ROBSIGHT.com. You want inventory, you want price, you want more for your trade, let's make it happen.
End the year in a Ford before this event drives off.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. Cody off today. Drew Nixon producing the show. Coming up in the Chiefs Red half hour, 30 minutes from now. Mitch Holthus, Chiefs Kingdom show last night. He sat down with Chiefs owner Clark Hunt to talk more about the decision yesterday for the Chiefs to move across the state line and build a brand new stadium and headquarters over in the state of Kansas. We'll get right back into the stadium stuff. Also, Andy Reid will speak around 11:45 or so. It's so weird. Like, the backdrop is this Chiefs-Broncos Christmas Day game or Christmas night game. Look, a lot of it is the team is eliminated, but also the stadium conversation we've been talking about for years, and at least when it comes to the Chiefs, while we're still waiting for the Royals answer, when it comes to the Chiefs, we had some conclusion to where they are going to end up. But let's talk a little NFL. I do want to start with Ross Tucker, though, asking about Arrowhead a little bit. Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL Insider, is on the line, brought to you by Nationwide for your insurance and financial needs. Nationwide is on your side. Ross, good to have you on. Appreciate it. I know you were busy last night calling some football as well. With the stadium discussion here in Kansas City, as you can imagine, people are very passionate on both sides. You got Chiefs fans on the Missouri side, Chiefs fans on the Kansas side, and now you have Arrowhead is no longer going to be the home of the Chiefs, at least on the Missouri side. You've been to, I don't know, just about every stadium, I feel like, at this point in time in the NFL. What do you think of Arrowhead and what that atmosphere has been all these years?
I have been to every NFL stadium. So that I always think is kind of cool that I've been able to see all of them. And a couple thoughts on Arrowhead. One is, it always felt to me driving in there like the most college football kind of tailgate atmosphere. You know, you can just smell the barbecue. Everybody's outside. You know, it felt like you were at like an Oklahoma or Nebraska or, I don't know, Kansas State, KU, whatever. It feels like about as many people outside and tailgating and eating and really cooking as any stadium in the NFL. So we'll start with that. Then actually in there, you know, I love the home of the Chiefs. I remember that. Right. And I remember, I think the first time I was there, Alex, was my third year. I was playing for the Buffalo Bills. It was 2003. It was a Sunday night game. And that place was so loud. At the time, I always told people I thought it was the loudest outdoor place. I thought the loudest place I had been was the RCA Dome in Indy. I thought the loudest outdoor was Arrowhead, louder than Seattle. And I remember distinctly, I was, you know, the next guy up at center and both guards, and I had very little interest in going in that game. Very little. We were losing by like 20. They were just teeing off on us. And I remember thinking, please don't get hurt. Please don't get hurt. Because it was so loud. And so there's a lot of different memories to it. Obviously, I've been there a bunch for playoff games in recent years with all the success they've had. The one thing I've thought about is I don't really understand with all these new stadiums why no one has built their stadium more like the one in Seattle or like Arrowhead, because whatever the acoustics are at those two places, it's just different. It's just better. And you're not going to convince me, and no offense to the folks in Kansas City, but you're certainly not going to convince me that the folks in Seattle are any louder than the folks in Philadelphia or New York, you know, or Detroit or wherever. I don't really believe that. I do think the acoustics are a big part of it. So I'm surprised more teams haven't tried to replicate that, because it feels like it's a significant advantage. And then I'll also say, you know, I've been there for some bad weather. I was there for the Dolphins game a couple years ago in the playoffs, where it was so cold that as Kevin Harlan and I were calling the game, the window in front of us in the radio broadcast booth would freeze, Alex. It would freeze from the condensation of us talking hitting the glass. I mean, it was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. And now I hear, you know, I'd love for you to fill me in on a little more details, but it sounds like this is going to be an indoor venue, and because they want to get other events there, which everybody's trying to do. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. Cleveland and Buffalo, everybody's trying to get the indoor venue so that they can get Final Fours and this and that. I guess what I think is, like, how many of those events are really available? And if every city has an indoor venue to be able to get those type of events, do they then rotate them like once every 30 years? And is that worth it? You get one Final Four at your stadium over 30 years because everybody else has one. There's just a lot of different aspects to it. I actually was hoping you could educate me, since you're somebody that listens to the people. What are the Chiefs fans feeling first about the location, not about the type of venue, but about moving? It's not like they're moving to a different city.
Yeah.
It's still the Kansas City area. Are people really upset about it or not really?
Yeah, I mean, it's split because, as you know, we got the state line. And so if you're listening on the Missouri side, all you've known is that these are your teams in Missouri, and it's something that people take pride in. I grew up on the Kansas side. I'm used to going to Missouri for Chiefs games, for Royals games. And so for me, you know, it hasn't been a big deal for me to go across the state line. But now that something is, quote unquote, being taken from folks in Missouri, people are not happy on that side of the state line. And there's a lot of tension in the city, Ross, about this move, to say the least, even if it is only, 20 minutes, in some cases less, of a move and of a drive for some people. So that it's definitely divided in that regard. The outdoor element is where I would totally agree, and I think most people in town agree, that you're not going to have the home field advantage to that extent that you had before. But the state of Kansas, the reason why they wanted the Chiefs and other than taking it from Missouri economically, is they hope they get all these other events, and the only way to do that is to have an indoor stadium. What we don't know is if it's going to be a retractable roof or not. I would love it to be retractable, but at the same time, as you know, a lot of these places that have the retractable roof, they're only opening it up like 2 nights a year anyway.
I don't understand that. You know what I think they should do? I guess it's too cold maybe to do this, but there are some, like the SoFi Stadium is interesting in that there's a roof, but it's open in terms of like you can feel the open air. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like there's no windows or doors in some places. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one. What the Bills are doing is all of the fans are going to be covered, but the playing surface itself will not be, which I think is interesting. But again, I guess that limits you on what event, like you can't have a Final Four or you can't have certain things like that there if it's open. So I think reasonable minds can disagree on a bunch of things, but what typically wins out is revenue. And the belief is that you get more of these events with revenue, and so that's usually what wins, the indoor thing for the revenue purposes.
Yeah, the state of Kansas offering $1.8 billion in public money. It's the largest public subsidy for a stadium in U.S. history. That's also the reason why the move is happening.
Have you had any? Yeah, I mean, of course. Have you? And that's smart by the Chiefs. That gives the Chiefs a competitive football advantage. And why do I say that? Yes, there's a salary cap, but there's also a budget. Every team has a budget, where they tell the GM, hey, we only want to spend 220, 240, 250, whatever the number is on players this year. And so GMs not only operate under the salary cap constraints, they operate under the cash constraints as well. Well, when you get this influx of cash from the state of Kansas, and so you don't have to put up as much of your own money for the stadium, and then the revenue that the stadium should generate, the Hunt family, the Chiefs organization, they should have more cash that they could, theoretically, it's up to them, spend more money on the players. It's not even from team to team how much they spend on players could help them more with signing bonuses, with pro-rating stuff. There are some very real revenue football cash advantages to doing something like this.
We're talking to Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider here on 96.5 The Fan. On the football side of things, we were spoiled, as you all know, for a very long time here in Kansas City. I forgot how miserable football can look and how miserable it can be to watch a bad football team when I watched that game on Sunday for the Chiefs against the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, it's been a while for you guys, for sure. I mean, when's the last time the Chiefs played a game with no meaning like that in terms of the postseason? A very, very long time. And honestly, on some level, they played like it. They looked like it. Although who knows what would have happened if Gardner hadn't gotten hurt when he did. We talked about this last week. I am not of the belief or of the mindset that as much change needs to happen in Kansas City as other people seem to think. I think that would be a little bit reactionary. I think it was a very unfortunate year on multiple levels, and I think there's still pretty darn good core of personnel, as well as the front office and the coaches and all of that. And I think, I don't know if mulligan is the right word, but I would show faith and belief that this group that's won so consistently will be able to figure it out for next year.
You mentioned watching that game. They looked like a team that was playing in a game that didn't have playoff meaning. When you look from a player perspective now, it's a short week. You're playing on Christmas night. You're playing a division rival. It's still a division rival. You have a chance to spoil the Broncos' chances at a number one seed. Is that what you try to dig down and find if you're a player, other than just, hey, you're still a professional and your job is your job? How do you bounce back from what you saw on Sunday to try to see if you can't put something together Thursday night?
Well, those are the two things. Those are the two things that you can speak to in order to motivate. Number one, it's, hey, our season's been ruined. These guys think that they're the big dogs in the division now. These guys think they're going to get the number one seed and that they're going to go win the Super Bowl. You know, if we're going to be miserable, let's try to make them as miserable as we can. Let's go kick their you-know-whats so that they can't be the number one seed, so that maybe they don't even win the division, and that they have to go a long, hard road to get to where we've been 7 years in a row. So that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is it's been a disappointing year. There's no way around it, even though I don't think that they necessarily need to make massive changes. I do think they need to make some changes. And if you're one of the guys that's playing in these last two games, you better make sure you're not one of those changes, because I can assure you they're going to be watching these last two games closely to see who kind of quit on them and who gave them everything they possibly could till the very end. They're going to have their eyes on this tape, maybe even more so than the tape from earlier in the year, for multiple reasons. So you better be a guy they want to keep around, or at least play well enough that if you're not, you get picked up by somebody else somewhere else.
Before we let you go, Ross, Coach of the Year, you have a vote, let's say, and I don't know if you actually have one, but let's say you did. Who's the Coach of the Year? Because this thing seems wide open with 2 weeks to go.
Oof. That is really a tough one. I mean, compelling arguments could be made for, in particular, Mike Vrabel, Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson are three of the ones that really stand out to me. I do think Kyle Shanahan has a pretty darn good case as well, but he never wins. Yeah, guys like that never win. It's like Andy Reid. It's never that guy that wins it. The guy that wins it is always the guy that took a team from worst in the division to winning it. Every year, it's the new guy in year one. Sean Payton's done a heck of a job. He won't win it. It'll be one of those guys I mentioned, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen, or Vrabel. I think you can make a pretty good argument for any of them, and it probably depends on how these last two games play out to really decide, because it feels like you're, kind of nitpicking a little bit between those guys. They're all very deserving.
Vrabel, the favorite over at FanDuel. Kyle Shanahan, second best odds. Mike McDonald in Seattle, third best odds. Then Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen. Going to be a fun final couple weeks for a lot of different reasons in the NFL. Ross, happy holidays, man. Appreciate it, and we'll check in after the first of the year, maybe.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Alex.
There you go. Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, with us here on 96.5 The Fan. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Got into a much longer stadium conversation there. Good perspective from him about the Arrowhead experience and obviously what is happening around the NFL with some of these other stadiums Don't forget, coming up in 15 minutes, Chiefs Red Half Hour. Mitch Holthus last night spoke with Clark Hunt. You'll hear part 1 of his interview with the Chiefs chairman and CEO of the Chiefs, obviously, and his thoughts on the stadium project. But, Drew, we didn't get to it earlier. Let's get to it now. College football, where are we at? I'll be honest, completely checked out on college football
totally
the last
checked out,
24, 48 hours, yeah.
Well, you didn't miss anything yesterday. Wazoo played Utah State in a bowl game that didn't necessarily matter. Washington State won. But we did over the weekend, of course, have the college football playoff, the first round. Two games that, we expected to kind of have happen. Not so great games, but 2 that were really good and I thought very intriguing. We've got our quarterfinal matchups set. I am curious to see who you have in the Final Four. Miami plays Ohio State. Oregon plays Texas Tech. Bama plays Indiana. And Ole Miss plays Georgia. I have Ohio State playing Georgia, and then I have Indiana playing Oregon. I think that's how it shakes out for the Final Four. I don't know if you feel any differently.
Well, so I think we are going to see Alabama upset your Indiana Hoosiers.
Wow, they're not mine, but okay.
I think we get an upset.
You thought they unlocked something maybe against
I
Oklahoma.
know Bink and I have talked about this. He's worried about the run game. They don't have one. I've been very high on Ty Simpson, the quarterback.
Yeah.
And look, Mendoza might even be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. We'll see. But I'm going to go and upset. Alabama's a 7-point underdog. Give me the upset in the Rose Bowl. Yeah, so do I. But that means I think they got a shot. So I'll go Alabama. Give me Texas Tech, Alabama in the semifinal.
We're all the way on the opposite end on that side of things.
Yeah,
okay.
And then go ahead and give me Georgia, though, and Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. And then I guess at that point in time, go ahead and give me Alabama against Georgia in the Natty.
Oh, that's gross.
I know.
That's
I know.
disgusting.
That's not what I want.
For the third time.
It's not what I want, but I think that's where. Look, I have a ticket preseason on Ohio State, so I would be fine if Ohio State won it all. But that's where I'm at. I'll be, as I told you, the last 48 hours or so completely checked out. Like, I enjoyed Friday night, Alabama, Oklahoma, but since Sunday afternoon, I've been all in on just NFL and stadium stuff.
Yeah, obviously, we've been locked in with this stuff. The big day is the 27th. After Christmas is always when we have the days of just nothing but bowl games on during the week. The 27th is the first one. I think we got 10 bowl games or 8 bowl games on that day. But one thing I want to get to real quick to wrap things up, if there's been a lot of changes, obviously, with all the locals. KU, of course, still have Lance Leipold, but you lose your quarterback. A lot of questions around that program. K-State, a whole reset change. A lot of guys entering the portal. Missouri, a lot of players entering the portal, including Bo Perbula. If you could pick one team that you think is best positioned for success going forward, who do you think it would be? I think it's actually a relatively difficult question because of all the changes going on with all 3 programs.
Look, I love the hire of Colin Klein. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world if you were going to move on from Chris Kleiman. I still think Missouri, they're in the SEC. You look at resources that they have. Eli Drinkwitz has still been able to recruit at an extremely high level. It doesn't mean that in-game there's not some questions. But in terms of the talent that he's bringing in, and we had our debate about Bo Perbula, but the talent that he's been bringing in on a consistent basis, they're in a better position than the other 2.
Yeah, I would say Missouri. I lean that way. Based on the schedule as well, I mean, you're losing your bulk of your wide receiver room, your quarterback. Not that Coach Drinkwitz can't bring those guys in or replace them, but there's going to be some questions around how good they can be with the schedule the way that it is next year, where just on the face of it, 7-5, 8-4 may be the most realistic compared to the others, but there's a lot of changes obviously going on at K-State. A ton of good players leaving, including Austin Romaine, one of the senior leaders and big-time defensive players on that roster, Quay Moss, Jace Brown. A lot of changes in college football. But, yeah, I'm excited, of course, but I'm a sicko. Bink and I are sickos for college football. Bink and I are texting about FCS playoffs and D2 playoff title games.
I text with Bink all the time. Once he started texting me about Montana and Montana State,
you were out of there?
That was where I'm just like, all right, yeah, cool, man. I had to drop out. Yeah. I had to drop out of the conversation once it became a Montana State conversation. All right, that is a little look at college football. Again, coming up in 10 minutes or so, Chiefs Red Half Hour, you'll hear Mitch Holthus' sit-down interview with Clark Hunt when it comes to the stadium decision yesterday to move to the state of Kansas. Real quick, though, let's do a trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
Yeah, we'll make this one quick. We got a busy show today. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Tuesday. So we go to China for this one. There was an engineer that has taken legal action because he or she, it doesn't say, has been fired over his extended, I guess it says his extended bathroom breaks. So in its defense, the company says this guy was axed from submitted surveillance video showing a 30-day period during which he took 14, quote, extremely long bathroom breaks, the longest of which lasted 4 hours. 4 hours in the bathroom. In his own defense, he said he presented medication for hemorrhoids and surgical records. In the end, the court sided with the company, saying his bathroom time greatly exceeded his physical needs. Now, maybe this guy did have some problems, if he, hemorrhoids and all that. 4 hours, though, you just got to go home. Don't just sit in the bathroom. When I worked, one of my first jobs when I was, I guess I would have been 15 maybe years old, 16. I was working at Best Buy. So I think it was my second job as a kid. I worked at a grocery store initially, and I was working at Best Buy in the cell phone department. And when I was in junior high or high school, early high school. And there were definitely coworkers that would go to the bathroom, and they'd be gone for like 25, 30 minutes. Like, what the heck are you doing?
Take an extra break?
Yeah, just to get an extra break in. Or they take the extra smoke break or whatever. So I've seen that. But 4 hours is insane.
Yeah, 4 hours is wild. And obviously, I don't if you have hemorrhoids, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't.
Those aren't fun.
I don't,
those aren't fun.
Those aren't fun. But I also don't think it takes 4 hours to do that. But yeah, it's
4 hours.
There are. I don't know this from a work experience necessarily, I guess, but from a school experience. There'd be people who would skip out on class and they just go hang out in the bathroom for 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, we've all seen that play out.
Which is all it's weird. Of all places, you go to a bathroom, but at the same time, where else is there to go to kind of get away with it, I guess?
And they figure nobody's going to, unless you're doing it as often as this guy, nobody's going to question it. Look, you got to go. And you got hit. But 4 hours is also, wouldn't someone come in and check on you? Like, if Drew, if you were gone, other than not being able to run the show, but let's just say it was before the show, and you were gone for an hour in the bathroom, I think eventually one of us would be like, hey, I want to go check to make sure he's alive? Make sure he's all right? I think that's what we would do. Anyway, that's the trash of the day. Up next, a Chiefs Red half hour. We're going to hear from Andy Reid live out at Arrowhead. But up next, Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs, sat down with Clark Hunt. You'll hear part one of his interview.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet does not win. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day. Get into hockey, basketball, and pro football with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today using bonus code DUSTY to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Minimum deposit of $10 to participate. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
You don't need to be a financial MVP right out of the gate. At Main Street Credit Union, we're here to coach you through it. No matter where you're at, lining up for your first play or deep in the game, we'll help you move the ball forward. From building credit to launching a business. Because here, it's not just about money, it's about progress and having a team that's got your back. Learn more at mainstreetcu.org.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
This season, enjoy stress-free comfort with easy booking and trusted service from Anthony. Save up to $4,500 on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. Schedule today at anthonyphce.com.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Delden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Hey, it's Brian Balding here. Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. Makita tools at the Home Depot are built with precision. Without shortcuts, Makita delivers results that reward hard work. Year after year, designed for the toughest jobs. It's a choice for pros who invest in performance, not just tools. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Every now and then I rinse it out, and I need Downy Rinse tonight, and I need it more. My kid wears the bed and the smell never leaves. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. The sweat and dead short smells like a dog park. I'm Downy Rinse tonight.
Downy Rinse fights stubborn odors in just one wash. When impossible odors get stuck in,
Rinse it out.
Paid for by term provider. Premiums will vary. Plans depend on age, location, and other factors. Visit biglube.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-529-2856. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
Chiefs coverage this past hour has been brought to you by WaysideWaves.org. Save a life this holiday season.
Wayside rescues thousands of animals each year. Your gift today provides a complete circle of life-saving care they need to heal and find loving homes. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit WaysideWaves.org to make your life-saving gift today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold with you, Drew Nixon producing the show. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we're going to head out to Arrowhead, going to hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. Believe it or not, yes, there is a football game on Thursday night, Christmas night, as the Chiefs take on the Denver Broncos. Doesn't feel like it, does it? Even if the stadium stuff wasn't going on, it just doesn't have the same vibes, unfortunately. But I'm sure, for anybody that's going out there, it's your last shot, most likely, to see Travis Kelce play a football game in person. You have that element. We can talk more about that a little bit later on with Dane and Hughes as well. But last night on the Chiefs Kingdom show, Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs, sat down with Chiefs owner Clark Hunt to discuss the move to Kansas. It's a two-part interview. We'll play part two in the noon hour, but this is part one of Mitch Holthus with Clark Hunt talking about the decision to move to Kansas and what that new stadium would look like.
The chairman and CEO of the Kansas City Chiefs, Clark Hunt.
Mitch, it's great to be on with you tonight. This is definitely a very exciting day for the Kansas City Chiefs and for the Chiefs Kingdom as well.
Well, it's been quite a day. Your thoughts as you've navigated this day and what you were able to present to the Chiefs Kingdom and to the world about how exciting this is.
Well, first of all, we're very grateful
we still have him, I hope.
For the partnership that we have
got Clark,
with the state of Kansas.
Him. Evidently, we don't, but we'll try to get him and get him back.
Mitch, can you hear me?
I can now. Thanks, Clark. But just the day.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. First of all, we're very grateful for the leaders in Kansas who helped make this opportunity possible. And I want to give a shout out to Mark Donovan, the president of the Chiefs, who worked for many, many months on this negotiation. We're excited to have an opportunity to build a state-of-the-art dome stadium in Kansas and Wyandotte County, as well as a new practice facility and team headquarters in Olathe. This will be a 5-year project that we would hope to open in the middle of 2031, and the Chiefs would begin playing their home games in the new stadium in 2031.
The process, you mentioned how extensive it's been. Just give us maybe a little more vindication of just how you've looked at every single thing, every possibility to get to this point.
So during this process, we also had an ongoing dialogue with the state of Missouri and Jackson County and the city of Kansas City. And I want to compliment the leaders there who worked very hard to put together a package that might have made sense for us to stay and renovate Arrowhead. At the end of the day, we just felt like the best thing for the future of the Kansas City Chiefs and our fans was to build a new stadium. This will be a facility that generations of Chiefs fans will get to enjoy not only Chiefs football, but also other big events. And frankly, that's one of the things I'm most excited about is Kansas City's now going to have an opportunity to bid on events that historically we just didn't have a facility that could host those type of events. Things like the Super Bowl, college football playoffs, the NCAA Final Four. We'll be in the mix on all those now going forward with the new stadium.
It's so exciting in that regard. This is a bit of a past, present, future day. Feels that way. Your connection to Arrowhead, like all of us here tonight, obviously very strong. It was your dad's vision, but just the difficulty. This is the difficulty that it was to make this decision.
Yeah, well, like every Chiefs fan, my family absolutely loves Arrowhead. It's a special place, and we have so many memories going back 5+ decades. And for that reason, it did make it a very challenging decision. But this is really about the future. My dad was always thinking about what was next and what was best for the fans. And I have no doubt that if he was here, he would be very excited about the opportunity we have and the game day experience that our fans are going to get to enjoy at this new stadium.
Clark, again, Chairman and CEO of the Kansas City Chiefs, Clark Hunt, with us tonight on the largest network in the National Football League and with our great fans here in Lee Summit at the Hy-Vee and on Ward Road. The totality of this project, though, is another piece of the excitement, meaning that you mentioned how the region will benefit if we have a Final Four here, if we have bowl games here, if we have world-class concerts with more frequency. But what about that there's way more in a stadium here, that this becomes a potential 360-day destination for fans with other entertainment opportunities?
Well, that's exactly right. One of the benefits of having a dome stadium is it makes it possible to have many more events throughout the year. Over the years, we've had a number of concerts at Arrowhead, but I would expect that number to at least double in the new facility. And the other thing that'll be part of this project is the mixed-use development.